Alright, we're here at 3240 Dartmouth Avenue in Boulder, Colorado. Currently we are at the city tap. Purpose for today's visit, city was doing some camera work and notified our homeowner that there was roots at the city tap. She called us for a cleaning for preventative maintenance. She hasn't had any backups. Whenever I arrived on site and examined the crawl space, there are points of access near the front of the crawl space that you could get a sewer machine to. However, they are 2 inches or less, so not going to be able to fit 3 and 4 inch blades down and properly clean the line. There is a 2.5 or 3 inch clean out further back, but you're unable to get your sewer machine past the rafters. There is no access. And to our knowledge, there's no access outside as well. Other than that, we are pushed out to the tap, where we did see a decent amount of roots, both at the transition and in the tap itself. We are running a bit of water, I believe, currently. So right now it's difficult to see anything. We're just pushed forward into kind of a mess of roots and whatnot. But we're going to pull back slightly. And I believe this is the tap, around 80 feet. So we do have roots, as we can see. And I believe that's our tap. So 80 feet from the back of the crawl space, the small clean out is where I'm cameraing from. So the line is not very long. And I would say that this at the tap is a concern and will cause issues. I can't get my camera into the city, but I believe that is the city right there. So I attempted to locate. Locate was off because I believe that we are pointed pretty down. So we're going to pull back. I just wanted to display what the actual tap it looked like, because there is an offset at the transition right before the tap that we're going to pull back and see. Predominantly all of our root intrusion is there and right after. Everything else looked pretty good. I didn't see really any cracks in the clay tile. Didn't see that. I saw a little bit of roots, but nothing super concerning. And then the cast iron, it shows signs of age, but doesn't appear to be an issue either. So we're going to pull back a little bit. And so we've got a decent bit of buildup here that does need to be cleaned out. Unfortunately, my concern is we won't be able to clean it out due to not being able to get our roots or our blades through. So I'm going to go have another toilet flush, try and get this camera head cleaned off and clean us up for the rest of our video. Now that we have a more flat camera head, I'm going to see if we can locate it at the same time. So we shall return. Okay, so we've got water running now to get that camera head cleaned off. You can see this offset is collecting some waste in the bottom. There is root intrusion. We just located this spot at 75 feet out in the half of the street closest to the home, at about 6 foot deep. We're going to do multiple locates. It looks like it might be going under the sidewalk, which will be unfortunate. But otherwise, I would hope closer to the home it is dirt and not that deep, and we might be able to install cleanouts, and that might be all we really need to do to service this sewer line. So we're going to pull back. And as you can see, other than that area, we can't really see past that area, and the tap is just past it. And there is a lot of root intrusion. But otherwise, pulling back, going very slowly, the clay tile pipe appears to be in pretty good condition. And we've got some minor offsets like that one there. However, it's not really an issue. It's on the top and it's not that big. And that's the case for most of them. I believe I saw some very minor cracking occasionally. Cracks aren't the end of the world. They can catch blades and they don't get better over time, that's for sure. However, not really detrimental. It's not a break. Once again, offset, but it's on the top. We've seen flow just fine. And to demonstrate that again, you can see water is flowing fine since we have water running. But whenever it's on the bottom, it'll do something like that. So not great, but not the end of the world. And then with the amount of roots on the other side of that, I don't know if, until it gets cleaned, which we're not able to do properly, I don't know if there's a part of the pipe missing that's allowing that many roots through, or what the situation is, or if it's just the offset itself. But if we pull back, see that, so that's a crack to the right there on the pipe that's going around to the top. Not quite full 360, but not showing a lip or anything like that. Minor root intrusion, not a big deal. A little bit of an offset, but not really impeding flow. We're going to go ahead and locate this spot as well, so that we can get our estimates done accurately, and then we'll return. Okay, we are back. We've located the spot about 4'6" right where the street is meeting the curb and the sidewalk. And we are going to proceed with our scope. We do have water running, but we don't. I believe there is quite a bit of pitch to this line, so it's not pulling up around my camera head. Normally I do not like to have water running while scoping, because it sometimes will look like bellies. So there is an offset here, you can see, but it's outbound and there's not really even any root intrusion. So I don't see that as much of an issue. Clay tile pipe is designed to somewhat move. So we've got a little bit of root intrusion there. This is a pretty decent bend right there. And we are going to go on ahead and give this a locate as well, just before that bend. So we're going to pull back just a couple more feet before we actually locate. This was directly under the sidewalk for the home. So there was another turn. Everything looked fine there. We're going to see about locating here. Okay, that locate was in a better spot, so we didn't have to spray paint the concrete. Put a flag in the yard. Here is right by the sidewalk, a few inches over, and it is approximately 3'5" to 3'6" deep. So eligible for a hand dig and eligible for cleanouts to be put in there if necessary. So I'm gonna go turn water off and return. Alright, so we just had another toilet flush and we are turning the water off. That way our camera head is cleaned off. And we should see water drain down. So we flushed the toilet a whole bunch of times, even with the roots at the tap. Still not the worst. And so as I was stating prior, clay tile pipe looks to be in decent-ish condition. Got a crack right there going most of the way. So there's a seam for a joint, but then right past that on the top, looks like there's a double seam. And we do have just a hair bit of roots that look like they're poking through. So that's in the bell. Normally that's not too much of an issue, but having some roots poke through isn't great. Still not the end of the world. So far all of our offsets have been minor and mostly on the top, with not that much root intrusion, to be honest. A little bit more of an offset there, still not really a problem. Another crack there at 43. We're going to go ahead and locate this joint. We'll be doing a full repair estimate, but realistically they can likely just install cleanouts and we can maintain the line. Alright, so that spot is right past the porch, the front steps. It's right to the right of it as you're exiting the home, or if you're looking at the home, it's to the left of it. It is 3 foot 2 inches deep, which is where I would probably recommend the risers go, and then would not have to disturb the porch too much. There are sections of the porch that have concrete underneath the porch deck, so it is a raised wooden deck style porch, and then the back portion of it has concrete poured. Homeowner expressed concern about the implications or difficulty of having to remove the deck and the concrete underneath. But we have multiple options for this situation. We're almost to the foundation of the home. And so this is likely close to the foundation. I'm going to go check that. Okay, so we were unable to locate. It is underneath the deck, but did a little bit of measuring and math, and from the edge of the deck, it is approximately 12, the deck itself is approximately 12 feet. This spot here, right by this crack, is right on the other side of the deck at 43 feet. Now this is from the access and the clean out that makes multiple bends before dropping into the cast and going straight out. So realistically it's maybe 20 to 30 feet out of the foundation and you're at the tap. So 12 feet back from this spot right here, if we call it 44, that's going to put us at 32. 32 feet is our foundation wall. And at 44, it was 3 foot 2 inches deep. So I imagine, there's a little bit of TP left. I imagine right here is our transition into cast iron, right at 32, just like our math was. So this is likely just 3 feet deep. But I looked underneath the deck. The concrete underneath the deck goes for 6 feet. So 6 feet from the foundation is still concrete. So from 36 feet on is not under concrete. It's just dirt, and it's within 4 feet. It can be hand dug. Cast iron shows some signs of wear, but We've got some pitting there. It's not the end of the world. Right there, I believe. We should be coming up on, yeah. There is that's where the larger clean out is in the crawl space, just on the other side of the foundation wall, on the far side where we can't get our machine. Then we'll have, here in a second, will be a tie-in right there, off to the left. Might be flip-flopped in the actual recording, it might be on the right. But off on the side of the pipe there, we have a tie-in for one of our toilets, and I believe a lavatory sink. Then we're no longer in the ground. We are above ground in the crawl space. A little sudsy, bit of a low spot. I believe that low spot's right as it is in the ground. This is all in the crawl space. And so now this is our transition into ABS. So this is very close to point of access. Not sure what exactly that is. It's just some grime. That's right past the clean out itself. Here's our crawl space. So, as you can see, rafters everywhere prevent us from, the clean out is back there for the sewer. And there are rafters in the way the whole way. Alright, so clean out over there. This pipe goes around this way, around the furnace, and then drops down, and then we have a toilet sweep hiding out behind there. That's our tie-in that I spoke of. So we will be providing estimates for a spot repair for risers, as well as from the foundation to the street, as well as to the from the edge of the porch to the street. Thank you.